I'm going to talk about one of the greatest German philosophers, who was also a transcendentalist, Arthur Schopenhauer. I've been reading about him, and Arthur Schopenhauer lived from 1788 to 1860. He influenced many of the greatest thinkers, philosophers such as Nietzsche, scientists such as Albert Einstein, psychoanalysts such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, writers Leo Tolstoy, Herman Melville, Thomas Mann, Hermann Hesse, composers Johannes Brahms and Gustav Mahler all praised him. And he was famous for what was called philosophical pessimism. But after he died, a manuscript was found among his notes and personal belongings called The Art of Being Happy. And it says, curiously, in spite of his pessimistic ideas he defended during his life, in those notes, he developed a series of rules that can help avoid suffering. He wanted people to achieve a certain state of happiness. By the way, the name Schopenhauer, German and English, means the good life. So here are some of his points for being happy, 200-year-old advice, very modern. Schopenhauer's first rule to being happy: avoid comparisons to avoid being envious, becoming envious. The first rule is based on avoiding envy. According to Schopenhauer, envy is a very negative emotion, and experiencing it immerses us in a constant state of dissatisfaction. Envy will lead us away from happiness. Also, making comparisons with others makes us doubt ourselves. Therefore, to avoid this suffering, it's best for us to avoid comparison. Since each person is different, we must accept each individual's situation. By the way, he studied and referred to the Bhagavad Gita and many of the great ancient Vedic texts. And his second point to being happy recalls the principle from the Bhagavad Gita: we have control over action alone, never over its fruits. He said, don't worry about bad results. We should accept bad outcomes as inevitable. He said, but we just encourages us to do our best at all times. That way we won't feel too bad about a bad result, since we always try our best. Same with you have control over action alone. You do your best, and sometimes things happen. Another principle, the fourth rule, I'm skipping ahead, is being happy teaches us to depend on ourselves. Another rule, value what you have. When it comes to being happy, it's essential to know how to look beyond mere material possessions. This won't only prevent us from experiencing envy, but it will also help us value more the things that really matter. In this sense, we can have better relationships with our friends and family by giving them the importance they really deserve. And a final point, devote more attention to the present. The last rule, commentary, the last rule is related to the time we spend thinking about our past and our future. Losing ourselves by thinking about the problems of the past will not benefit us in any way. In addition, we have to accept that we can't change the decisions we made in the past. On the other hand, spending too much time dreaming about the future can lead to unhappiness. Therefore, Schopenhauer says we should just enjoy the present. Tonight, I'm going to read a poem by Jacqueline Woodson, who was a Black American writer of books for children and adolescents. She served as the Young People's Poet Laureate and was named the National Ambassador for Young People's Literature by the Library of Congress. This is entitled Absolute. And at one point, I read the lines, 2 skinny arms, 2 big feet. It's not the number 2, it's TOO, like in too much. For young girls. The summer I was 10, a teenager named Kim butterflied my hair. cornrows curling into braids behind each ear. Everybody's wearing this style now, Kim said. Who could tell me I wasn't beautiful? The magic in something as once ordinary as hair that for too long had not been good enough, now winged and amazing, now connected to a long line of crowns. Now connected to a long line of girls moving through Brooklyn with our heads held so high our necks ached. You must know this too, that feeling of being so much more than you once believed yourself to be. So much more than your too skinny arms, your too big feet, your too long fingers, and your too thick and stubborn hair. All of us now suddenly seen, the trick mirror that had us believe we weren't truly beautiful suddenly shifts. And there we are, and there we are, and there we are again. And oh, how could we not have seen ourselves before? So much more. We are so much more. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely afternoon and evening, and we shall continue.